It's true, in fact, when you truly begin to control your inner world, your outer world will indeed reflect those internal changes and shifts that you make within. It's very evident when you see that many people in sort of the space of transformation, of really inner transformation, is a lot of times in spirituality there is this notion or idea of spiritual transformation or an internal shift or so-called transformation. And what's more commonly presented or known as a definition is identity shifting, which is very powerful perspective and internal change and shift that you can make within yourself on many different levels and degrees of your own inner self. But when you begin to recognize that your own internal state, meaning your own psychology, your own emotions, your thoughts, your belief systems, your values, your perceptions on life, 100% indeed actually manifest as your external reality, as your world, as your subjective experience in life. And, a lot of people have this notion to fall into sort of this low state of consciousness, thinking that the world is just happening to them, that things are just coming at them without their own sort of power. And to some degree that's true, but ultimately it's because of our internal hardware, our personal algorithm, our programming absolutely 100% reflects our relationships, our friendships, the jobs that we have, the experiences that we seem to constantly experience sort of on repeat. For example, you'll get out of one job, you'll get out of one relationship, you'll go to another job, another relationship, different person, different job, different environment, but the same situations seem to present themselves to you as if it's sort of like in many ways like Groundhog Day. Although the external experience has changed, what you're bringing your baggage, you're bringing your internal hardware, that it completely sticks with you your whole life. It stays with you. And unless we make these internal shifts and change our ways of thinking, heal some of these emotional problems and patterns that we have in our life, then, the external world, we're always going to be a victim to the outer world, thinking that, I've just been dealt a bad deck, a bad hand, and that I'm just unlucky. I think a lot of people really adopt this sort of mentality, is that I'm unlucky, that life just happens to me. Rather, life is just mirroring what you already believe to be true about yourself within yourself. That might be quite deep for a lot of you, but you can recognize it in your own life. When the most transformative experiences that's happened in your life, likely it's because of some internal shift or some shock in your environment. That shock or great change that occurred 100% had an impact upon your inner world, in the realms of your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, and your habitual patterns that we often all fall under from one degree or another. But this is a very important aspect of self-transformation, of healing many of these negative patterns and unwanted things that we have within ourselves, within our own psychological sphere and psychological world that is largely unconscious. It's known that the subconsciousness is at least 75% unconscious, and that means that we act accordingly to our unconscious patterns and behaviors, and we question ourselves, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep falling into these sort of negative traits and patterns? Why am I always in the same situation as I found myself in 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago? And it's because if we don't change our internal world, if we don't change the way we perceive ourselves and perceive the world, then we'll always be a victim. We'll always live in this why me consciousness, this why me? Why does everything happen to me in this way? And that's not a very empowering way to live. And I can't see myself living in that way. And so we really have to step into our own divinity. And really, what I mean by that is our source of power and empowerment, knowing that we've put ourselves in these positions, whether consciously or unconsciously. Yes, a lot of that had to do with our upbringing, our conditioning, and so on and so forth. So you could look at it in a certain way that it was out of our power. It was out of our means of controlling the situation. But on the other hand, we've got to recognize that we put ourselves in this position, and that we also have the power to pull ourselves out of the position that we're in. We've just got to change the way we perceive ourselves, and by doing that, the world then reflects the way we perceive ourselves. It's really the mirror principle. When you mirror yourself, when you look in the mirror, you have a reflection. But in order to change the reflection in the mirror, you then have to change your expression. The expression is metaphorical to your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, and so on and so forth. So just know that when you change the inner, the outer will absolutely change. It's universal law, it's principle. And these aren't just mechanical laws, they're universal. They were put in place by the Most High, by Spirit. And that if you follow accordingly to these laws, your life will radically change. So with all this being said, that's all I have for you in today's video. Also comment below letting me know what you thought about the video if you gained value from it. And as well, like the video and share the video to get it out to more people. With that being said, we'll speak soon.